Did he just say that and then disappear again? A simple message, no photos, no proof. Yet the internet is spiraling ****. What if a single, almost casual message could trigger thousands of questions, theories, emotional reactions, and quiet hope all at once? What if there were no photos, no teasers, no polished captions, just words that felt too human, too gentle, and too honest to ignore? When the sentence appeared, it didn't scream for attention. It didn't beg to trend. And yet, it did exactly that. Yes, I'm doing well. Why did those 4 words feel like reassurance and mystery at the same time? Why did fans pause, reread, and then reread again? And why did the mention of an album and plants, of all things, spark such an emotional chain reaction across timelines, forums, and comment sections worldwide? Something is happening, quietly. And that might be the loudest clue of all. The message arrived without ceremony, without filters, without visual evidence.
No selfies.
No studio shots. No behind-the-scenes proof. Just a calm, almost domestic confession that life has been busy lately. Preparing an album, taking care of plants, hectic days, a soft hope that everyone has a great day, sealed with a peace sign. And then, almost as an afterthought, a promise, maybe an update later. Even though there are no photos, that I am the hyper-curated world of celebrity communication, where every post is often a strategy and every image meticulously planned, this absence felt intentional. Or was it simply honest? That question alone became the first spark, because when someone at the center of global attention chooses words over images, presence over performance, it forces people to listen instead of scroll. The phrase, "I'm doing well," might sound ordinary, but to those who have followed every silence, every gap between updates, every subtle shift in tone over the years, it landed with weight. It sounded like reassurance. It sounded like grounding. It sounded like someone checking in not because they had to, but because they wanted to. And then came the album, not announced, not teased, not hyped with dates or track lists, just mentioned, almost shyly, as if it were another task in a long day. Preparing the album, as if it were something happening naturally, quietly, steadily, like growth. That one line alone reopened 1,000 doors of speculation. What kind of album? How far along is it? Is it experimental, emotional, raw, polished? Is it being created in solitude or collaboration? Is it born from chaos or calm? No answers were given. Only clues, and perhaps that was the point. Then came the plan-studded detail so small it could have been ignored, and yet it wasn't. In fact, it became one of the most discussed parts of the message. Because plants are not passive. They require patience, attention, consistency. They reflect routine, care, and presence. You cannot rush them. You cannot fake them. You either show up or they wither. So what does it mean when someone says they've been busy taking care of their plants? To many, it sounded like a metaphor. Growth happening quietly, roots strengthening underground. Life being nurtured away from the spotlight. To others, it sounded comforting. A reminder that even amidst creative pressure and public expectation, there is space for something slow, green, and grounding. And suddenly, the message stopped being just an update. It became a window. The word hectic stood out next. Not dramatic, not overwhelming, just honest. Hectic implies movement, overlapping responsibilities, days blending into nights. It suggests effort without complaint. And paired with "I'm doing well," it created a balanced picture. Busy, yes, but stable. Tired, perhaps, but fulfilled. That balance resonated deeply. Fans didn't just react with excitement. They reacted with relief, with pride, with affection, because there was no hint of burnout in the words, no heaviness, no apology for absence, just a gentle acknowledgement of life being full. I hope everyone has a great day. Simple.
Warm.
Unscripted. IT wasn't a call to action. It wasn't promotional. It was a wish. And then, the final line. The one that felt almost mischievous in its understatement. I'll try to share an update later, even though I haven't taken any photos. In an era where visuals dominate, where proof often matters more than presence, admitting to having no photos felt strangely intimate. It suggested spontaneity. It suggested living in the moment rather than documenting it. It suggested someone so immersed in creation and care that they forgot to capture it. And that admission did something unexpected. It made the message feel real. And photos meant no expectations. No photos meant imagination was free to roam. Studio lights? A quiet room with instruments? Sunlight hitting leaves in the morning? Late-night notes scribbled between watering schedules? Everyone imagined something different, and that collective imagination became part of the story. The emotional response was immediate and layered. Some felt calm. Some felt excitement building slowly, like a low hum rather than an explosion. Some felt protective. Some felt inspired. And then came the questions. Why say this now? Why this tone? Why mention the album so casually? Why emphasize plants? Why promise an update without certainty? Each question added another layer to the intrigue. This wasn't a teaser in the traditional sense. It wasn't loud enough to be called marketing, but it worked more effectively than many carefully planned campaigns. Because it trusted the audience to read between the lines, and they did. Discussions unfolded not around dates or sales, but around well-being, around balance, around growth, around the idea that creation doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like routine, care, and quiet persistence. Some notice the peace sign at the end. Not flashy, not symbolic in an obvious way, just a small gesture of goodwill, a reminder that even in the midst of chaos, there can be calm. Others focused on the lack of urgency. No soon. No wait for it. No countdown energy. Just I'll try. That phrase alone felt human. Trying implies effort without pressure. It implies honesty about limitations. It implies respect for both self and audience. And in that respect, the message did something rare. It lowered the noise. Instead of igniting frantic speculation, it created a steady warmth. Instead of overwhelming with information, it offered a glimpse. Instead of demanding attention, it invited patience. Yet make no mistake, the curiosity is alive, because when someone known for depth, artistry, and emotional resonance says they are preparing an album while living among plants and busy days, people listen. And they wait. They wait not anxiously, but attentively. They wait because they sense that something is forming not out of obligation, but intention. And perhaps that is the biggest surprise of all. That in a world addicted to immediacy, a simple, photo-less message could remind millions that good things take time, that creativity doesn't always announce itself loudly, that growth, whether musical or botanical, happens quietly before it becomes visible. And so the message lingers, not because of what it revealed, but because of what it didn't. Because sometimes the most powerful update is the one that says, I'm here, I'm working, I'm living, and that's enough for now.